So today I am going to be doing a Monday Night Raw review. I bet you no one expected this from me since I've only done this a couple of times. And the last time I did this was probably like 2 years ago. But recently I've had this urge to start watching WWE again. So last night, Raw was going on and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to watch it. I'm going to get back into this, see where the storylines are at, what kind of wrestlers are in the spotlight right now, and what kind of direction the show is going. So the show opened with a pretty epic brawl between Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley. Now this rivalry is something that I've been wanting for a long time. Yes, they had their match back at the Royal Rumble, but I can't remember what happened exactly. I just remember it was just very bad, or it ended very quickly. But this heated up. They had the whole locker room out here trying to separate these guys, these two absolute behemoths of men charging at each other. It was crazy. And a match has been set up at Crown Jewel in November for them too. So finally, these two alpha species of men can beat the absolute poo particles out of each other on a big stage. I mean, yes, the Royal Rumble is bigger than Crown Jewel, I would say, but I think this time they actually will have a proper good match. So next up we have the first match of the night, which is my first match watching live in such a long time, and it was the OC versus Alpha Academy. Now, the OC had to win this because they would just look kind of dumb, you know? They've made their return, they're meant to be a strong faction with AJ Styles, and if they lost to Alpha Academy, don't get me wrong, Alpha Academy seemed like a pretty big deal as well, but they were never going to lose this match. So then the Judgment Day comes out to challenge the OC for a match at Crown Jewel, the battle of two very dominant factions, and I'm very excited to see what happens with the Judgment Day. You know, since I've not really been watching, like I've heard of the Judgment Day, I've kind of seen what they've been about, but I've never watched them live doing what they do, and now they have Dominic Mysterio as well, so he has a whole new persona, a whole new character, which I'm very excited for as well. Dominic and AJ had a nice battle on the mic. That was pretty intense, some nice disses being thrown out at each other. But I'll tell you what, Dominic definitely gets pushed by the Judgment Day, and he gets like pressured into doing things. And I feel like he is definitely a weak link within the group. He's trying to fit in, you know, but he got pushed into a match with AJ Styles, and he was like, oh yeah, I'll beat the crap out of you, bro, yeah, I got this. And it's like he's just there like their dummy. They sent him into the firing range. So then we had a segment with Seth Rollins, and I'll tell you what, I did not even know if he was a face or a heel, because the way his character is nowadays, it's a bit of both, isn't it? When he came out during this segment, he was, you know, the crowd was singing along to his theme song. He was like celebrating with the crowd about his United States Championship win, and it seems like he is on their side. He's a babyface. But then Mustafa Ali, of all people, comes out, and then Rollins ends up cracking him with a bit of a cheap shot, and then that heel Seth Rollins fully comes out. So I think this is the next feud for the United States title, Mustafa Ali and Seth Rollins, which is going to be insane. Like, them two as wrestlers are just unreal, and Mustafa Ali has always impressed me, even back in the 205 Live days. He just stood out from the crowd, and I feel like him challenging for a mid-card title will be monumental for the guy, and he will put on an absolute classic with Seth Rollins, because again, Seth is just an incredible performer. So then we had Damage Control versus Bianca Belair and Candice LeRae. I didn't even know Candice LeRae was on the main roster, but this is actually the first match that I've properly seen of her. I'm pretty sure she was good in NXT, right? I heard Bayley say in commentary that she has over 20 years of experience with wrestling, so she knows what she's doing. But for this match, it was just pretty decent. It was a nice way to heat up the rivalry between Bayley and Bianca Belair, mainly. But as for the match, just solid. Candice LeRae seems pretty decent, but I've got to see more of her. Then we had a return with JBL coming out. Now, this was pretty unexpected. And you know what was even more unexpected? The fact that he came out and just insulted the crowd. The heel JBL was in full force in Oklahoma last night. Then he ends up bringing out Baron Corbin, who apparently is a new member of the Raw roster, making the switch from SmackDown to Raw. Rey Mysterio made the switch from Raw to SmackDown, and I guess it was like a bit of a trade deal. Baron Corbin is the one to come over to Raw to fill that slot for Rey Mysterio. Now, this partnership will be very, very interesting. I don't know if it's a one-time thing, like if that was just a way to bring Baron Corbin in, but if Baron Corbin is wrestling every week, well, near enough every week, with JBL at his side, that is great for the guy. And the fact that he's got his name back as well is also a bonus. I didn't really like the whole Happy Corbin sort of gimmick. I like Baron Corbin, and yeah, he's still, you know, he dresses nice, he's still got that happy vibe, the theme song, the money, all that, but at least he's got his actual name back. Like, that's amazing. Then we had Dolph Ziggler coming out, which was just random for me because I thought he was on NXT, but I guess he was only there for a while. Had a rivalry with Braun Breaker, I believe, for the NXT title, but he came out on Raw, had a match with Baron Corbin, and it's always a pleasure to see Dolph Ziggler wrestle inside that squared circle. He is one of the best wrestlers to date. Alright, one of the best wrestlers I've ever seen in my life. Unfortunately though, Baron Corbin just had to win this one, or else he would look kind of dumb, you know? JBL's on his side. He's just, this is his Monday Night Raw return, I guess. Well, debut return. I mean, who knows when the last time he was on Raw was, but even still, he could not lose this match. It was his first day on the scene, right? Being reborn, essentially. So when he hit the end of days on Dolph Ziggler, you just knew it was over. Then we had AJ Styles versus Dominic Mysterio. The match finally came around, and it was pretty good. The way it ended, though, was a little bit interesting. Rhea Ripley grabbing the leg of AJ Styles, holding him off, distracting him. The referee was distracted by the OC and the other members of the Judgment Day on the outside of the ring, and then Dominic got a nice wee roll up on AJ, caught him off guard, and got the win. Pretty cheap way to win, but it's a heel way to win. It's a Judgment Day way to win, and that's that. AJ lost to Dominic Mysterio. No matter how it happened, he lost to Dominic, which is mental, but it's a good sign for the Judgment Day. So we were meant to get The Miz versus Dexter Lumis on this episode of Raw, and it was about to happen. Dexter Lumis made his entrance, and if he won this match, by the way, he would actually get a WWE contract, so he would officially become a wrestler for Raw, I think. But The Miz comes out from behind and smacks him over the back with a chair. Unreal. So he pretty much beats the hell out of Dexter Lumis to avoid Dexter Lumis. Then we had another return, so not only did JBL return last night, but someone else did, and that someone is Elias. No more Ezekiel, thank God. Elias is definitely the better character, but they're not even the same person, so what am I talking about? It's his little brother. His career was cut short, it's sad, but Elias is back. So Riddle interrupts Elias, which at first I was like, that's very disrespectful. He was about to play his song, and Riddle comes out. What's that about? But then he brings out bongo drums and joins in on the live musical act with Elias, which was very wholesome. Corey Grace as well dropped a line which was just hilarious to me. Matt Riddle was like, do you want to hit my bong? And then Corey was like, I guess that's what you call a singular bongo. It was funnier at the time. So then Elias plays for a bit until Seth Rollins makes his entrance, interrupts Elias. And again, it's just so sad to see, you know, Elias cannot just have a performance, a full performance. Matt Riddle as well was sitting there with the bongo drums just vibing to Elias's piano work. It was very motivational, very inspirational, very emotional. But Rollins had to ruin it. So then we had our main event of the evening, Seth Rollins versus Matt Riddle for the United States Championship, by the way. Now, since Roman has both world titles, I feel like these mid-card titles are definitely getting pushed, you know? The US title kind of feels like a world title on Raw, especially with Seth Rollins holding it as well. It was a pretty good match until Elias got himself involved and actually ruined it for Matt Riddle. First of all, Elias cracked Seth Rollins with a high knee, which was hilarious. Pretty much knocked him out cold on the outside. But Seth Rollins ended up retaining the title because he kicked Elias to get revenge, and then Elias let his emotions run wild. He came in the ring, tried to get involved, and then ended up going against Matt Riddle, and Seth Rollins got the win. He retained. Now, I made a prediction to myself during this match. Since Elias was out here, I was like, okay, what are they going to do with him? Because he's not here for no reason, right? And I thought that Elias would actually turn heel and cost Matt Riddle the match on purpose. He did cost Matt Riddle the match, but that wasn't intentional. Now, I don't know if a rivalry will heat up between Riddle and Elias, because I'm pretty sure Riddle's done with Rollins, right? Yes, they had a match last night, but still, like, the rivalry as a whole is finished. I thought their match at Extreme Rules in the Fight Pit solidified that, so if that's the case, Riddle needs a new direction, and maybe a rivalry with Elias could be something to do. That could be good. And then it would also give Elias something to do right away as well, so I think that's definitely what's going to happen. But then Mustafa Ali spawns in out of nowhere and absolutely beats the living hell out of Seth Rollins. And again, this is just another reason as to why Matt Riddle is done with Rollins. Rollins is moving on to Mustafa Ali, so Seth Rollins ended up retreating through the crowd to get away from Ali, and that's how the show came to a close. So this is setting up an absolutely insane match at Crown Jewel, you best believe that. And that was it for Monday Night Raw. So for my return to WWE as a whole, as a live viewer, you know, it was a pretty decent show. I'd probably give it a solid 6.5 out of 10. Definitely could have been better, but you know what? It was good. It was solid.